In this video, I'm going to break down the three things that every business must have installed within their company, and it's what most entrepreneurs get wrong that is plateauing them from breaking through to the next level and scaling to 7 and 8 figures. Over the last 5 years, my business partner Justin and I have worked with over 2,900 clients, scaling them to 7-figure companies and beyond. And in that process, we built our own companies to 20 million, and we have a handful of other ones that we've scaled to over 7 figures. In this process, there are three counterintuitive things that you must make sure exist within your company. Otherwise, you will continuously hit bottlenecks and it will prevent you from being able to scale. Secret number one. People don't scale businesses, systems do. This was a hard truth for Justin and I to learn. There were many periods in our growth that we had very vertical growth, where we were growing 200, 300% month over month. And in that process, we thought we could just hire more people and solve our problems. However, we were plugging people into broken systems. So most entrepreneurs get this wrong. They create a very simple process, step one, step two, step three, and think they can hire people to build out that system. And that is only going to leave you with agony, more time spent, and going back and fixing things that were never done correctly in the first place. I've broken down 4 main systems that you must have in your business if you want to scale to 7 figures and beyond. The first system is your client acquisition system. How are you going to take cold traffic and convert them into a sale? This is the number one reason that most businesses fail, is they don't know how to sell what they sell. And that means that they're not attracting the right customers to sell their products and services to. This is a pretty foundational system for Conversionly. This is what we specialize in doing. And in that process, we use the RBC squared framework that we developed for our infinity funnel process. Whenever we generate a lead, we then have 4 systems that work in tandem to nurture prospects through the 3 phases of the buyer's journey, where we want to bridge them to the solution, convert them on our product, and close them on our company. That will then take them through a scheduling and sales sequence. Utilizing this system, we're able to let our client acquisition processes handle 70% of our close for us, so our sales team is taking more time showing the customer how we're going to deliver the results and not as much time educating them on how we do what we do. The second system that you need is how you're going to onboard clients. After you get a new sale, how are you going to get them started without losing momentum? One of the biggest mistakes I see entrepreneurs make as they're starting to scale, once you start getting sales, they think, great, I got a sale, I got cash collected, this person's excited to work with me. However, what they don't factor in is buyer psychology. After every high ticket purchase, buyers will be on a high. They'll be excited, they'll be thinking about the future, and then that's immediately followed by buyer's remorse. They start second guessing, is this gonna work for me? How is this gonna work? Am I not hearing from this person? Even though they just sold a couple hours ago. This is a process that you need to make sure you have in place. Otherwise, you'll get a high volume of refund requests, or you'll get dissatisfied clients and you'll be starting on the wrong foot, which will make your fulfillment much more challenging. So here I broke down a simple onboarding process that you could implement in your business. As soon as you get a sale, that can be a trigger event that then fires an onboarding nurture sequence. This could be a series of emails and or text messages that explain to your customers what the next steps are. From there, we recommend having a welcome call. This is something that follows up with that handover from the sales rep, the closer, to the person who's going to be working with them. In our case, this is typically going to be our account manager. From there, we take clients to our client onboarding portal. This is a way that we get our clients onboarded into our process. In our client onboarding process, we collect the information that we need from our clients to be able to deliver the service that we need. We also have immediate value adds that get them a jump start on what we're going to be building for them. That way it streamlines the customer experience. From there, we then want to have the next step. So this is typically going to be the pivot point. Some would have it as an onboarding call. In our case, it's a strategy development call, because our onboarding portal takes a client through the strategy development process using our database of over 3,000 offers that we've tested and utilizing that to create strategies for our clients. We then have a strategy development call that customizes that experience for the client, so then we can start doing their fulfillment processes. From this, we have an offer revision sequence. This is typically going to be a process to make sure all the T's and I's are dotted and the client is 100% on board with what we're going to be building for them. The last thing you want to do is start investing into the development of something, but not having the client completely 100% on board with what's actually going to be happening. In this process, we then initiate the build, and that's where we have a sequence that breaks down exactly what's going to be happening. In the back end, our team will submit this to our development team that will start building out the client's assets. On the front end, the account management team is breaking down step by step, what does the customer experience look like and what can you expect through every stage of that customer journey. Lastly, we follow up, and this is a key element that has helped us optimize our onboarding process. As soon as we have completed the onboarding flow, we then send a customer satisfaction survey that gives us the ability to ask information, vital questions from our clients to find areas of opportunity on where we can improve either the system, the process, or the personnel. The next two systems are pivotal in your ability to remove yourself from the fulfillment or the delivery of your service and be able to delegate it out to team members. The first system is a fulfillment system. This is how you fulfill on the service that you sold to the customer. The second is your recruitment and delegation systems, how you recruit, train, and ramp up new team members so they know how to deliver the same service that you are delivering and not lack in quality or competence in the service. In virtually every business, the system is going to be different for every business. However, there are some fundamental things that you should cover in your process. First and foremost, you want to have the ability of welcoming new team members when you hire them. This is going to break down exactly what they should expect, what their KPIs are, what SOPs they need, and everything they need on how they're going to onboard with your company and get ramped up so they can start fulfilling on the role that they have filled within your organization. Next, you have a company handbook. This breaks down the culture of your company, the expectations, tell the history of your company, breaks down the employee agreements, their vacation days, etc. This sets the right expectation for the team member as soon as you bring them on board. Once you have these two things in process, then you can create role-specific playbooks that break down how they actually fulfill on the process that they're going to be doing. For instance, here we have our account manager playbook, and this is taking our account managers through every phase of our customer process with the appropriate SOPs on what they need to do to complete that next step of the customer journey. Real quick, what's one thing that you can do over the next 7 days to remove yourself from a process in your business that you don't enjoy doing? Comment down below. Secret number 2, success happens through iteration, not perfection. In working with over 3,000 clients, one of the biggest things that we've seen is the difference between the clients that have the fastest path to success and get the best outcomes versus those that continue to lag behind and end up getting frustrated in the process is they reach for perfection versus iteration. Now, what I mean by that, the clients that get the fastest results and succeed the highest is they are iterating consistently. Iteration loops give you feedback loops on what's working, what's not working, and give you the ability to identify where you need to improve. Whereas those that are focusing on perfection are trying to be perfect in every little thing, and they're not collecting that feedback. There's a book by Peter Thiel called 0 to 1 where he breaks down how businesses scale using an MVP process, and they're selling to one customer, not a million customers. You see, most people try to start a business thinking about how am I going to service 100 customers, 1,000 customers, 100,000 customers, and they're looking past the one customer. And this gives you the process of iteration. Another story that I like thinking about is there is a story in the book called Art and Fear that a professor breaks down two groups of a class on how they're going to get an A in that class. One group is graded purely on the quantity of pots that they build throughout that semester. The next group is graded off the quality of one pot. And what the professor was doing in this process was studying perfection versus iteration. In the group that was judged based off the quantity of pots that they created, not only did they create more pots, but they created better pots than the group that only had to create one pot. This is because of an iterative feedback loop process. As you're consistently doing something, you have feedback loops. You have data loops, you have quantitative or qualitative loops that then let you identify where do I need to improve. And it also refines your process. It refines your ability to create better outcomes through repetition. This is exactly what happens in business. In over 3,000 clients, I see clients that are trying to be a perfectionist, making sure their product is 100% perfect, making sure their marketing is perfect, making sure they look perfect on camera, they sound perfect on camera, their funnel's perfect, their graphics are perfect. Every single thing has to be perfect. And ultimately what they end up with is a 4 to 6 month process to build things out just to get it tested in the market. Now, the problem with this is you spent 4 to 6 months making this thing perfect, and when it went live, you didn't get a perfect outcome. That's because you're not factoring in market feedback loops on what they actually want. So the team or the people that always consistently win are the ones that are getting things up as quickly as possible for an MSP, minimum sellable product. And then they're iterating on that to make it perfect. Let's be honest. People don't care about you. They're not going to remember you 3 days from now. So what you need to do is get something up, test it, and see how the market responds to it. As soon as you have that reception, you can then iterate upon it and make it better, and then make it better, and then make it better. And consistently doing that will ultimately lead to better outcomes and faster growth. Secret number 3, recurring revenue is your lifeline. This probably isn't going to be the best feedback or secret for people that are just starting their business. However, it is something that you want to factor in and think about. Most businesses are playing a dangerous game, especially in the high ticket space. Every month they have to buy new customers. And what I mean by that is they're running a very linear process. They have to run ads, get new customers in, sell those customers, and then deliver a service. However, as they're delivering that service, the revenue stops. So if revenue's cut off after that month, they still have all this work they have to deliver. And if that process takes 2-3 months, there's 2-3 months without any revenue coming in. So every month they have to consistently buy new customers, get them in so they can keep funding in the customers that they already sold. This is a volatility trap that I consistently see entrepreneurs making. So in that, you want to build a recurring revenue process. One way of doing that is creating a retainer basis versus a project basis. A good example of this is if you run a website development company, for example, and you sell a customer on a new website build. You could charge $3,000 to $5,000 to build that person a new website. Another way that you could structure it is it's $1,000 a month for a year. Now in that year-long process, you're making $12,000 versus the $3,000 to $5,000. Additionally, it's a lower upfront cost for them to swallow, so it's easier to get the sale. And lastly, you continuously get paid month over month. Now for the first 2 to 3 months, you're likely going to be servicing that client. But then from months 4 through 12, they're going to probably be very low maintenance, but you're still going to be earning a recurring revenue on top of that. Recurring revenue model number 2, subscription services. Now we typically see this across the board. You have Netflix, you have Hulu, you have softwares that you probably pay for on a recurring basis. However, in virtually every single one of those instances, it is a recurring revenue. You can apply these same methodologies to a regular service company. For instance, an HVAC company that does HVAC systems, maintenance, etc., could sell a recurring service where they deliver filters to the homeowner. Every month, the homeowner gets a package with all the air filters they need to replace in their vents. It offers a good service to the customer. The business probably doesn't make a ton of money on those air filters, but what it does give you the ability to get a recurring sale from that customer if and when something does break with their systems. Revenue model number 3, membership services. Membership services, you've probably seen a lot in the high ticket space, especially with school games. This gives you the ability to create a community that somebody subscribes to, they pay a low monthly fee, and that gives them access to exclusive things that they otherwise would not have access to. You also see membership services in like country clubs where you get access to a course that you otherwise wouldn't have access to, etc. Membership services or membership subscriptions are a great way for you to get recurring revenue with very low fulfillment on the back end. The downfall with this is if you don't deliver a strong value, customers will typically complain. So as you're building out your membership services, you want to take into consideration what that customer experience is going to be and how you're going to consistently deliver value month over month to decrease the churn. Once you have recurring revenue systems put into place, now you have the ability to create upsell, cross-sell, and downsell opportunities, not only through your marketing, but also your sales process and your customer journey. This all in all will help you increase your lifetime value per customer, which will give you a steady foundation and predictability for your business. So there you have it. Those are the 3 secrets that we learned in building a $20 million company. Secret number 1, system scale businesses, not people. Secret number 2, success happens through iteration, not perfection. And secret number 3, recurring revenue is the lifeline for every business. If you got value out of this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see how we built a predictable client acquisition system and repeated this process for over 2,900 clients, click this video up here.